Assemblyman Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the second indulgence. Today, we have a very, very special guest in our midst, and I have the high honor to introduce her to all of us. She is First Lieutenant Doris Howard. Doris was born in Wisconsin the year that the women got the vote, and she reminded me today it was also a time when flapper dresses were in fashion. Now, last Monday, we celebrated our speaker's 39th birthday. On Saturday, Doris is also going to celebrate her 39th birthday for the 60th time. She's a proud member of the greatest generation who earned her nursing degree in 1941. Shortly thereafter, Pearl Harbor was attacked and America went to war. Doris decided to join the Army, where she would use her nursing skills to tend to the wounded in the battles of the South Pacific. She was deployed to Australia, where she joined the crew of the hospital ship Comfort, because after all, if you're in the Army, they're going to send you to the Navy. Now, I got to admit, I'm a little bit jealous because I found out today that she was actually on 5 different ships, and I was only on 4. So my hat's off to her on that. And you know, a hospital ship in wartime is dangerous duty and definitely not easy. In fact, Doris was involved in many of the pivotal battles of the South Pacific, including the Leyte Gulf Campaign, the Battle of Luzon, Central Pacific and Rokas Halandi Campaign, and the New Guinea Campaign, and then went on to the homeland of Japan. As we recall, the first battle of the Japanese homeland at Okinawa was one of the bloodiest in American history. The casualties were high, and the Comfort was on the scene bringing thousands of wounded aboard, filling every ward, every passageway, and all the deck space. Doris worked endless hours, day and night, tending to the injured, and surely saving many American lives. In April of 1945, the Comfort was a target of a kamikaze attack. When the Zero struck the ship, Doris was loading syringes with antibiotics for the wounded below decks. The explosion obliterated the compartment she was in, blew her across the room, and knocked her out against the bulkhead. She was found by a corpsman who came through the fires searching for survivors. She, of course, endured significant injuries from the attack. 3 of her doctors and 6 of her fellow nurses did not survive that day. Damage to the Comfort was so significant that the abandoned ship order was given. Doris, however, remained with her injured patients while the damage control teams fought the damage and enabled the Comfort to limp into Guam for repairs. Doris continued her service through the rest of the war, completing her distinguished career just in time for Christmas of 1945. After the war, Doris continued to work as a nurse and, like the rest of the greatest generation, got married, raised a family, and became involved in her community. She served as a nurse for several years and was married for 59 years. An accomplishment in any lifetime, for sure. Following her husband, Texas Harold Howard's death in 2006, she traveled widely and decided to settle just up the road in Reno. Doris remains active with recreational classes, including being a leader in the yoga class. There is so much more to her life, and we are fortunate to be able to read more because Doris is one of the 14 women veterans whose photos and bios are displayed outside our chamber. As we all welcome all the veterans today, please join me in a special welcome to First Lieutenant Doris Howard and wish her another happy birthday with many more to come.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. And I do have 2 guests with me real quick. I have Jim Snyder and Linda Hay with the Adopt-A-Vet program that many of us are familiar with, and the state had the pleasure of helping to support last year, in which they've expressed gratitude. So just wanted to acknowledge my guests as well, and thank you for all that you do. Some announcements for the body as well. We have a joint address this evening by Senator Cortez Masto, and a little pop quiz here. I'm going to ask you to be seated at. Yes, 4:45. It is, of course, Veteran and Military Day at the Legislature, and if you have not done so, please take a moment to enjoy the displays in the front foyer and in the Capitol grounds. Tomorrow, we will have a joint address from Chief Justice Mark Gibbons, and he will be giving us the state of the judiciary. There will be a reception following at the Supreme Court Rotunda from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. All members are invited to attend. Tomorrow as well, Latino Lobby Days. There'll be a breakfast from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. in room 3100. It's also Nevada State College Workforce and Education Day, along with World Down Syndrome Day, and there'll be an exhibit in the front foyer. Seeing no other business before us, Mr. Speaker, I would move that the Assembly stand in recess until call of the chair.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in recess.